Good morning. God bless you. On this very important and beautiful sunlit day, our Human Relations Day. Please take a look at the special offering envelope that's in your bulletin. This is a day that we'll take up a special offering. You can give it today or add it to your offering later. But we want to make sure that we support ministries that bring us all together as one people. And on this day, United Methodists take up this special offering, Human Relations Day offering, and it coincides with the celebration of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. So may you be inspired to live out this vision and this dream today. May we reach out and make a difference in the world by everything that we do and say and how we contribute to those who are most in need. May you be blessed on this most beautiful of days.
Please rise as you are able and join us as we sing, "He Has Made Me Glad."
So our next song is talking about making me a servant, and just looking at the lyrics, reminding us that we are servants of God. We're not here to do our own works. We're not here to do our own deeds. Just letting the light shine of God and letting His will flow through us. So just really take that to heart in this next song, for making me a servant.
Make me a servant, humble.
That's right. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday is tomorrow. And I think that probably you know a lot about who Martin Luther King Jr. is. What I wanted to do is to ask anyone in the congregation if you might be able to teach us something that you know about Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. A word or two that you might help us understand who he is, so that all the children might have a broader understanding of who Dr. King is. Can anyone just shout out a little bit about what you know about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? Anybody?
He was a tremendous student. He skipped 1 or 2 grades, depending on who you talk to.
He was brilliant. He was a great student. He skipped grades, 1 or 2 grades. Thank you. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Dr. King?
He was the first black president.
The first black president. Close. That was Obama. But he was someone who helped make the first black president possible because he helped everybody understand that it doesn't matter what color your skin is, right? Yeah, it doesn't matter. That shouldn't separate us at all, right? Good answer. Yeah.
He graduated at 16.
He graduated at 16 years old? I'm going to take your word for that. Yeah, brilliant mind. Who else can tell us anything about Cindy?
He led peaceful demonstrations for equal rights.
He led peaceful demonstrations. So some people might say, oh, why don't we just go and fight? But what Martin Luther King Jr. said, no. Let's go and we will be peaceful, and we'll do peaceful marches, and that love will overcome any of the hatred in the world. He was a pastor. At 18, he was. And he preached at his dad's church, Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia. And so he loved preaching. He loved spending time with the children. He loved singing and praying. He loved church. What else?
When he spoke, most of the time people go to jail for it.
Well, okay. Let me narrow that a little bit. Jillian said when he spoke, most of the time he went to jail. But he did go to jail. You're right. He did go to jail because he said hard things. And he spoke the truth. And sometimes it's hard for people in power to let the truth be spoken. Right? Right? Anything else that the congregation wants to say that might help us? Yes?
He was a man of courage.
Yes.
He met all of that hatred and threats against him, but he never stopped giving that message out.
He was a man of courage. You know what courage means? He wasn't afraid. And even though it was dangerous and there were risks, he had courage and he never stopped doing what God called him to do. I want to let you know, as you know, Martin Luther King Jr. died a tragic death. And it breaks our heart that the world was violent and caused this violent death of this great person. But here's the hope. We're going to take his dream and his vision and his courage and his peacefulness and his brilliance, and we're going to continue it on. Because you know where he got all of those things from? From Jesus, who he loved and who was his Lord. And so we all share that faith, and we're going to continue on that ministry that he inspired us with his words and his actions. But on the day of his death, his last words were to his friend whose name was Ben. And Ben was a musician. And Ben was going to sing a special song at the event that was planned that night before the shooting took place. And I want you to know what Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King's last words were. He said, Ben, make sure you play Take My Hand, Precious Lord, in the meeting tonight. Play it real pretty. That's a powerful thing. That those were his last words. And I want to share with you what he was talking about. These are the words of the song. Precious Lord, take my hand. Lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me home. When my way grows drear, precious Lord, linger near. When my life is almost gone, hear my cry, hear my call. Hold my hand lest I fall. Take my hand, precious Lord, and lead me home. When the darkness appears and the night draws near, and the day is past and gone, at the river I stand, guide my feet, hold my hand. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me home. Ben, sing that song real pretty. Let's pray. God, I thank you for people like Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., who came and made a tremendous difference in our life and in our world, who helped pave the way for the first African-American president, who had the courage to lead people in peaceful marches, who who even was arrested and jailed for the words that he spoke, a brilliant person and a person of deep faith. God, we know that you have loved Martin Luther King Jr. just as you love us. Help us to live out his legacy, to see all people as your people. Help us to love every single person on this planet. Doesn't matter the color of their skin or how much money that they have or who they worship or where they live. God, help us to love everybody. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless your precious people. Thank you so much. I know that you are doing good things and celebrating great birthdays and growing up strong to make the world a better place. You can be seated again with your family. Eugene Blair is a member of the Detroit Annual Conference of the United Methodist Church. And he wrote this litany in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. It's called The Dream That Never Dies. It's printed in your bulletin. And if you would turn to that in your bulletin and join me in this litany of hope, that we might carry this dream and vision forward. Come, let us slay the dreamer and see what becomes of his dream. It is a dream about a place where one is judged by the content of one's character and not the color of his or her skin. It is a dream of a nation where the necessities of life are a right, and no one goes without. It is a dream of a nation where the earth's gifts and resources are not just for a special few, but all God has given us is held in sacred trust for all the peoples of the world. It is a sacred dream. When fulfilled, we call all people out of the bleak and destitute midnight of racism and hatred into the bright and glowing daybreak of freedom and justice for all. Lord, your servant Martin died for a never-ending dream. May we renew our commitment to the dream. May you be blessed by and receive this holy gift, the gift of God's Word, found in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 25, verses 31 through 46. Jesus said, "When the Son of Man comes in his glory and all the angels with him, then he will sit on the throne of his glory. All the nations will be gathered before him, and he will separate people one from another as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. And he will put the sheep at his right hand and the goats at his left. Then the king will say to those at his right hand, 'Come, you that are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me.' Then the righteous will answer him, 'Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry and gave you food, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? And when was it that we saw you a stranger and welcomed you, or naked and gave you clothing? And when was it that we saw you sick or in prison and visited you?' And the king will answer them, 'Truly I tell you, just as you did it to one of the least of these who are members of my family, you did it to me.' Then he will say to those at his left hand, 'You that are accursed, Depart from me into the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. For I was hungry, and you gave me no food. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not welcome me, naked, and you did not give me clothing, sick and in prison, and you did not visit me. Then they will also answer, Lord, when was it that we saw you hungry or thirsty or stranger or naked or sick or in prison and did not take care of you? Then he will answer them, truly I tell you, just as you did not do it to one of the least of these, you did not do it to me. And these will go away into eternal punishment, but the righteous into eternal life. The word of God for the people of God. Let us pray. God, send us your message. Give us your hope. Wash over us with your love and grace. Renew our spirits. Help us to believe in the power of your peace. Help us to walk these lines that people have walked before us, these marches, demand justice for those who are hurting, righteousness for those who are abused. God, speak to us this day. Help us to receive your word with the innocence of a child and send us into the world with the love of your Son. May the words of our mouths and the meditation in our hearts be acceptable unto you, we pray. Amen. Have you ever thought what you wanted to accomplish with your life while you still had breath on this earth? Have you ever thought what you wanted to do before you died? Have you ever thought about looking back over your life and assessing where you put your time and where you invested your resources and what your priorities were while you lived this life here on earth? Have you ever wondered what you should accomplish before you leave this world and enter into the world that is to come? It's a very philosophical question. Probably we all have had those dark nights when we've wondered, what should I do with my life? There's a website called bucketlist.org, and it has suggestions about things you can put on your bucket list. A bucket list is a list of things that you want to accomplish before your days on earth are over. And they give you over 10,000 different ideas of things to put on your bucket list. They're varied, obviously. They're anything that you can imagine, from riding a streetcar in San Francisco to baking bread in a bakery to skydiving from a plane, which might be your last listed thing on your bucket list if you don't know how to do that very well. It's a horrible joke. Okay. Good I said it. But people on this website, they make these bucket lists, and you can go and see what they put on their bucket list. And it's really interesting to see what matters to people, what they want to do with this precious few breaths that we have, if you really think about it, on this beautiful earth. And so people list all these things. I want to learn another language. I want to visit Disneyland. I want to sleep under the stars. But if you look closely at each person's list, each person's bucket, you'll find that every single person has something that is intended to help somebody else as well. All these lists have things that include helping the homeless, or working for a charity, or getting passionate about a cause and spending time helping that cause. Friends, we have the ability to make a decision with our lives. We have choices that we can make every day about what we ought to do and who we ought to be and who we could help. We make choices every single day about what we should try to accomplish in our lifetime. Martin Luther King Jr. had to make choices as well. He talked about it, he wrote about it, he prayed about it. It's been reported many times that he often would wonder, what if I just walked away from the civil rights movement and took a cushy job at any university that is of my choosing around the world? I'm brilliant, I have this eloquence, I can write books, and I can teach classrooms of students that can then go on and change the world. I can publish books. He sometimes thought about, what would my life be if I just taught in a classroom as a professor? He had to make a choice about what he was going to do with his life. Sometimes he wondered, what if I just went back to Ebenezer Baptist Church and did the thing that I really, really love, preached and worshiped with my father and with my family? What if I sang the old gospel hymns and preached to congregations who wanted to know the love of Christ and changed the hearts of so many people? I would be safe and I could do the things I love. He had to make choices about what he wanted to do with his life. And when he walked through his community and from city to city and town to town and state to state, and he began to see this ongoing injustice, this evil that separates us because of race, because of how much money somebody has in their pocket, because of how much power someone feels like they have. He saw this injustice everywhere he went, and he realized that he had one choice to make, and one choice only. Stand up and be a part of a movement that would change the course of human history. He had a choice. He could have done any of those things we've named, or anything else, but he chose to put his life on the line, knowing that it probably would be taken from him too soon, in order to lead this movement, to speak what needed to be spoken, and do what needed to be done. In 1963, Reverend King preached a sermon called 3 Dimensions of a Complete Life. Listen to the words in this sermon that he preached. In a sense, every day is Judgment Day, and we, through our deeds and words, our silence and speech, are constantly writing in the book of life. Light has come into the world, and every person must decide whether he or she will walk in the light of creative altruism or the darkness of destructive selfishness. This is the judgment. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? And that's the choice that each and every one of us must make. We must decide, what are we doing for others? How are we living out the gospel that we heard this morning? We have a choice to be a blessing and to walk alongside those who are in need, or not. I was hungry, and you gave me food. Thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. Naked, and you gave me clothing. I was sick, and you took care of me. In prison, and you visited me. Now you might ask Jesus the same question that those in the gospel asked. When did we do any of those things for you? When did we find you hungry and fed you, or thirsty and gave you something to drink? When did we find you a prisoner and visited you, or sick or took care of you, or naked and clothed you? When did we do anything like that for you? And Jesus would say to us, as he said to those in the gospel, just as you did it to one of the least of these who are members of my family, you did it to me. We have a decision, each and every one of us, to make. What are we going to do for others? How are we going to stand up for justice, for those who are being oppressed, for those who are being turned out and not welcomed into the church, for those who are being oppressed because of who they worship or how they worship, for those who are being oppressed because of their poverty, lack of wealth or status, for those who are being oppressed because of the government under which they live, for those who are suffering the hardship of war and hunger. How will we make a difference in the lives of others? That's our decision that each of us, must make. Now, here's a confession that I'd like to make to you. I don't like to make you feel very uncomfortable, even though sometimes God's Word does. I'd rather have you skipping out of here feeling great about yourself and about everything. But sometimes God's Word's harsh. Sometimes, here's my confession, I just want you to fill in those types of blanks. I want you to get the hard part, and I don't want to have to tell it to you, but rather than just have you infer the second half of the gospel today, rather than just have you try to figure out what it says, I want to tell you again what the gospel said this morning. Because the second half of it said, woe to you. Woe to you. For I was hungry and you did not feed me. I was thirsty and you did not give me anything to drink. I was naked and you did not clothe me. I was sick and you did not take care of me. I was a stranger and you did not care. I was imprisoned and you never visited me. Hard words. And we rightfully ask, when, Jesus, did we see you hungry or thirsty or naked or lonely or oppressed? If we would have seen you, we would have jumped and given you everything you needed. And Jesus would say to us, as he said to those in the gospel, just as you didn't do it to the least of these, my sisters and brothers, you didn't do it to me. I wish it was easy. But it really is easy. The choice that we have to make. It's really not that complicated what our path going forward must be. It must be to care for those who are vulnerable. It must be to love those who are hurting. It must be to extend our love beyond ourselves, to meet the stranger, and to visit the prisoner, and to give hope to those who are hungry and thirsty and homeless and lost. We have a choice to make. And it seems pretty clear we only have one decision to make. This is my last opportunity to preach before the Vital Church Initiative folks come up next week. I just want to remind you that next week is one service at 10 a.m. And we're going to hear a great sermon from a good friend of mine, Gary Stepp. And he's going to preach during the worship service, and then at the end of that service at 11 o'clock, he's going to read to us a report that they have yet written. But it will be a reflection of who we are, Wesley Parkers. Our amazing strengths and grace and the gifts that we have, that we see, that we understand. It will also show us areas that we can make improvements in. It'll be a reflection of who we are. And then we'll have a decision to make. Church. We'll have some time to pray about it and to talk about it, but then we'll have to decide what kind of church we want to be. To those who are hungry, and to those who are thirsty, and to those who are hurting, and to those who are oppressed, and to those who are suffering, to those who are alone, will we be there for them with them? Will we walk along their side and bring hope into the world and bring the love of Christ into our neighborhood? We'll have a decision to make. Blessed are you. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. Blessed are you. For I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. Blessed are you, for I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. Blessed are you, for I was naked, and you gave me clothing. Blessed are you, for I was sick, and you took care of me. Blessed are you, Wesley Park, for I was in prison, and you visited me. I'm excited about what God has in store for the future of this church. This beautiful, strong, loving, powerful, grace-filled church. I am so excited about the opportunities that are going to be right in front of us to make a decision to love or not to love, to care or not to care, to bless or not to bless. I know what your decision already is, and I can't wait to see how we will live it out in this beautiful community of Wyoming, Michigan, and all around the world. And I never do this, but I'll do it. Can I get an amen? Amen. Amen. Let's do this.
Great, you guys, the next song is Lead Me to the Cross. And this has really had a profound song with my faith probably the last year and a half. Just reminding me that God's in control and bringing my faith to Him. We have gone through some emotional ups and downs, and this song just really has my heart. So please feel free to join and just really pour your love out to God and remind us to bring it to the cross and not try to bear everything on our own shoulders.
Remember
So if I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. For I have set you an example, that you also should do as I have done to you. I invite you to think about ways that you can enter into ministry of compassion this week or the weeks to come. Think about ways that you can be kind to somebody, be kind to yourself, find a healthy place where you can grow. And in this light of compassion, Tom's going to come and invite us into an opportunity for us to grow.
Thanks, Dean. So Dean just mentioned about compassion, and we talked about washing people's feet. The whole message is about serving others. One area that can be challenging to serve others is even in marriage. So you may be married, or I'm sure you know someone who is. So I want to talk to you about upcoming marriage retreats. Erin, even before she sang the song, mentioned about the emotional up and downs. We don't have to do marriage alone. So this retreat that Lorraine and I and Erin and Ross had a chance to go to last year offers practical, insightful, real, even funny, and Christ-centered advice for marriage. It really gives your marriage has hope, and there's help for it too. Let's see. There are 2 weekends in our area. The Grand Rapids weekend is almost full, so if you want to go to that, act soon. There's a weekend coming up end of March in Kalamazoo, so we're fortunate to have 2 options. After the service, I'll be around the Welcome Center. Be happy to talk about this more, answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. And thank you for all of you for praying about acts of compassion for this week to come. Tomorrow, some of you might not be going to school, and so there might be opportunities to reach out and to bless people in our community, to do good works, and to show compassion for those who are in need in our very own neighborhood. So I encourage you to do those things and tell those stories and inspire others to love as we know we have been loved. A couple of reminders. Like I said, next Sunday, worship is at 10 a.m. When worship concludes at 11 a.m., then the conference VCI team will read to us the entire report from the beginning all the way to the end. That might take about an hour. I'm not exactly sure how long it takes for that to be read. But if you can plan for you to come to worship at 10 o'clock and stay until it's over, it'll definitely be over by lunchtime. So I hope that you can plan to be a part of that and then spend those next days and weeks in prayer and conversations about how we can grow in our vitality as a church. There are a couple of ways that we want you to be involved in the Vital Church Initiative process. One is this coming Saturday. It's for the entire church, and there's a workshop for everyone from 10 in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. At noon, we're going to have a potluck lunch. And so if you can participate, there's a list on the welcome desk in the Welcome Center just to say how many how many people are planning to be there, what you might be able to bring, and so that we can plan accordingly. It's a workshop for everybody, and it'll really help us understand, if you haven't been a part of the process in great depth before, really what we're doing and where we're going. So your participation is very important if possible. Then Sunday is our 10 o'clock worship, followed by the reading of the prescriptions. Then we have 3 opportunities called town hall meetings. They're in February. 2 of them are on Wednesdays, one at 7 o'clock and one at 5 o'clock. And then the last one is on a Sunday afternoon, trying to find a way for everyone to attend at least one. You don't have to go to all 3 if you don't want to. We hope that everyone will be able to go to at least one. They're all exactly the same, but people might ask different questions at each of the town hall meetings that might really help you to understand the questions you're asking as well. So come to any of them or all of them, but I hope that you can come to at least one of the town hall meetings. That's the only opportunity that we have to talk about the prescriptions before we vote on them the last Sunday of February. So thank you for your prayerfulness and your participation in these next steps. It's going to take all of us to really discern where Wesley Park is going. So thank you for your mindfulness of that. So we're going to have a potluck this coming Saturday. We're also going to have a potluck the last Sunday in January. Our custom here is to have one worship service whenever it's the 5th Sunday of the month. January has 5 Sundays. So the last Sunday is one service at 10 a.m. People are going to be joining our church and being baptized, and then we're going to go into the Family Life Center for another potluck. You'd think we were United Methodist or something. So if you can sign up for that potluck as well, the sign-up sheet is on the welcome desk, and we hope that you can participate in that one too. So there's a lot going on. Read the bulletin announcements. The Florentine dinner is coming up. We want you to sign up to go and have some great spaghetti and great fellowship. It's really a fantastic time. There are wonderful ways of giving that, I don't know if you've tried it yet, but Easy Tithe is an easy way and a really helpful way for you to give to the church in a consistent way or whenever you choose. You can even make a donation for the Human Relations Day through Easy Tithe. Just dial it up on your phone and there'll be an option for you to give a special donation for our special offering this morning, or to buy a ticket for the Florentine's dinner, or to give to the church in many different ways. So check it out. It's pretty amazing. Technology is really helping us stay connected. This is our special offering for the day. And like I said earlier, if it's something that you can contribute to today, please place it in the offering plate. If it's something that you'd like to take home and read more about, we encourage you to bring it back or send it in anytime that we can support a ministry in the United Methodist Church that helps bring us all together as one of God, as one people in God's sight. I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward. In the place we can place our communication cards, our prayers, our tithes, our offerings, these special gifts. In the bags, we're asking for any gifts that you can give for our ministry shares. Thank you so much for your giving hearts. hope for my despair. O loving God, open unto me wisdom for my confusion, forgiveness for my sins, love for my hate. O God of peace, open unto me peace for my turmoil, joy for my sorrow, strength for my weakness. O generous God, open my heart to receive all your gifts. Amen. Friends, you've heard me say this before perhaps, but I think it's a very powerful thing to carry someone's prayer. To trust someone, to allow them to know that your heart is hurting, or you need some strength, or you would like them to pray for whatever you're holding in prayer as well, and then to carry their prayer throughout the week. So, if it's something that you could stop before you head out in the world, and just pull someone aside and say, Allison, would you pray for me? I'll pray for you. And you spend a moment just sharing your prayer. And you go the rest of this week knowing that someone cares about you and is waking up with your prayer in their heart and is going to bed with your prayer in their heart. What a powerful, strengthening thing that might be. It's up to you to decide whether to ask someone to pray for you and with you. I encourage you to do so. May God bless you on your journey today.
As you're comfortable, please rise as we sing our last song for today. Won't you let me be your servant? It's a very easy tune. You may not know it, but we'll sing the first verse and then join us as we sing the other verses.
every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. Go in the name, in the peace, and the love of Christ your Savior. Amen.
Got it. Turn it off.
Oh, it's okay.
Turn it off.
How do you do? Stop right.